Hello and welcome. In this presentation, I will guide you step by step through how to correctly complete the annual statement of withholding tax and advance income tax for year of assessment 24-25. As a withholding agent, your responsibilities are clearly outlined in the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017, particularly section 84, 84A and 85. These sections have also been updated by Act number 10 of 2021 and Act number 45 of 2022. In this session, it's intended to help you fulfill your obligations accurately and efficiently when filing the withholding tax and advance income tax statement for this year of assessment. If you come to the filing mode, under the Amendment Act number 4 of 2023, all returns and schedules must be submitted electronically. However, under the special situation, if the Commissioner General finds it's just and equitable, a written submission may be permitted under section of 113(1)(c). But remember, this is the exception, not a norm. Therefore, e-filing is must for corporate customers and the individual customers. Before jumping into the e-filing process, please make sure to go through the withholding tax guide and the quick guide. I will explain those guides hereafter. You can download the full guideline from IRD website under the downloads, and the quick guide you can find from access to the e-service in our web portal. Okay, both are available. Please go through it properly. If you see the withholding return formats, the withholding return format remains unchanged from the previous assessment year. So, if you filed it in the previous year, the structure will be familiar. Let's recap the 4 sections you will need to complete. Part 1. Summary of withholding tax deduction on payments made to non-resident person and payments made through payments related to rewards, winning from lottery, betting and gambling, or payments related to sales of gems at auctions. If you have the part 2 summary of withholding tax or advance income tax deduction on payments made through the resident papers. Please make sure clearly understand that part 1 contains most of the non-resident persons payments made to the non-resident payments, and part 2 related to the resident payments made to the resident persons. Don't mix up it. Okay. And part 3 contain monthly payment summary and the 4th declaration. Here you can see the part 1 of the return. Here 1 interest or discount, charges, natural resource payment, rent, royalty, service fee or insurance premium, fee or transport or telecommunication bills. Any other payments, dividend or any other services you can declare, which is the payment made to the non-resident persons. That means if you remit any payments to the out of the country and if you get the clearance from our clearance direction unit, that payment should be mentioned in this return. If you say this is remittance, that is not a remittance, that those all are withholding tax. Therefore, every withholding agent should be declare those details in the part 1 of withholding tax return. In additionally, if any payments made to related to rewards or winnings from lottery or betting and gambling was for the resident or non-resident person, it should be declared under the row number 9. At the same time, if the gem authority made age auction, that time gem authority deduct 2.5 withholding tax from the sales of the gems at the auction, and they will declare remitted to IRD and submit this row number 10. This is purely related to the gem and jewelry authority. If we look part 2, It contains interest, charges, natural resource payment, rent, royalty, dividend, and premium, similar to periodical payment or payment made. That's mean if you have any consultant payments or payments made to the doctor, that payments come under the section 7 of this row. And these payments related to the resident person. If you look part 3 of the monthly payment, it means monthly payment summary. Here we are request you to, when you the tax withholding agent should deduct the withholding tax and they make the payment from next month before 15th. That payment should be declared here. If you fill the part 1 of return, you should declare that payment A or B. If you complete the part 2 of the return, you should declare the payment C or D or E. What are the payment you made to the IRD, that should be declared under the G. The e-filing, the HH was automatically filled by the system. That's a 3 schedules, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 2B. And the declaration. If the whether annual statement or part of the statement prepared by approved account or any other person, if you said yes, if you yes, read part 1 and part B of this declaration and upload necessary documents. If you know it's part B is enough to fill. This is filled by preparer. Under the e-service, if the section is filled by return was filled by the preparer, it goes to the approval for approver. Therefore, both preparer and approver should have their SSIDs. In some companies, they have only approver. At the time, one SSID is enough for. Please make sure after the preparer fill the return, the approver was approved the return before the due date. With the return, the taxpayer withholding agent should submit 3 schedules which are relevant to them. Should have Schedule 1. Schedule 1 is most probably submitted by the banks and financial institutions because it's contains withholding tax or advance tax deductions from interest or discount. If the company have the intercompany transaction and the loan payments and they made the interest, that should be also declared under the Schedule 1. All other payments come under the Schedule 2, and the Schedule 2 we have divided to 2A and 2B. 2A contain withholding tax or advance tax deduction details, which are the payments made to the resident person. And the Schedule 2 payments contain payments made to the non-resident payments. Therefore, don't miss it. If you fill the Schedule 2 part 2 of the return, that should be fill the 2A schedule. And the taxpayer fill the part 1 of the schedule 1 to 7, they should fill the part 2B of the schedule. You can find the annual return draft copy of return and schedules and guidelines under this page of our IRD website, and you can find the schedules from the schedules, and you can find the verification tools also in our website under the downloads. Please make sure before you submit the schedule, it should be verified under the verification tool. I will explain this Schedule 1, Schedule 2B and Schedule 3 how to fill with my guideline. If you come to our guideline, you can see first, it said it is e-filing is must. Second, earlier explained that what is the part 1 and part 2 and the part 3 contains. Before you submit the return, you should ensure the following conditions are met. One is the Schedule 1A-D and the 2A-D. That means part 1 total and the part 2 total of the withholding tax deduction should be matched with the part 3 FKH. At the same time, if you declared interest, it should be matched with the Schedule 1. And if you fill the other cages, or for example, rent or royalty or anything, it should be matched with the Schedule 2A or 2B. The total should be matched with the shape. In the e-service, you can, if you key in the schedule, you can see the matching within the system. It's not allowed if not match. If you upload the schedules, matching was not happen within the system. It is matched after the processing only. Therefore, please manually you make sure the payments, the schedules and the returns are matching properly. This matching is save your time after submitting. the return, because if it fail, once again we request to, after that you submit the return and we reject your return. Therefore, please make sure the schedule and returns are matched properly. Part 1. Here are some special notes are there. Please careful our note. One is, if the banks and financial companies pay the interest to residents and non-residents, at the time they are very difficult to identify the residents and non-resident person. That's why we ask them to declare the residents and non-resident papers under the part 2 of the return. Not it's also, it's related to the bank and financial institution. For the senior citizen refund purpose, IRD requested to, as per the Act, submit the quarterly returns with schedule. After, if you submit the quarterly schedules up to 3, first quarter, second quarter and third quarter, fourth quarter there is no quarterly schedule, you should submit the balance taxpayer details, senior citizens and other details as a final schedule. Ensure that serial numbers are not duplicate within the same year of assessment. That means if you start quarter 1 with serial number 1, it's continuously go to the annual returns final with the annual return. Note 3. This is also related to the banks and financial institution. Most of the banks' volume was very high. Taxpayers' volume was high. And therefore, they are difficult to upload. The schedule is very difficult because we are allowed only 10 MB to upload as a one file. If you want, if the taxpayer, the withholding agent need, they can request the SFTP facility from Commissioner General. If you submit the request, we will send your request to the IT division. IT division will help you to how to you provide your the SFTP facilities. The one other thing, if you submit the schedules through the files or SFTP, any method, but you should ensure the records are verified using the relevant schedule verification tool. So that's I already mentioned that there's a schedule 1, schedule 2, schedule 3. There's so many columns: serial number, investment type, withholding name, withholding address, account number, investment and everything. Okay, we will describe this, how to you fill these columns in our guideline. Please go through this. Serial number, the serial number must start from 1 and not be repeated. And the tax type and the investment type. Investment type you can find from the drop down list. If you have any issues in your system, you can type the investment type with use the same spellings within we show in the guideline. And the withholding name, there's no issue. And make sure withholding address, there is no commas in your CSV file formats. If you have commas, it's so your schedule is mismatched. It means there is a commas. Therefore, please avoid to put the commas in your schedules. The most important is withholding TIN and NIC. Withholding this TIN and NIC is must. If you have, please provide the TIN and NIC. If you doesn't have it, please keep the cage as blank. Do not put any other numbers in this cage. The one more thing, sometimes you have the issues to use the new NIC numbers. At the time, please follow the Note 4 rules. Download the schedule file from the web portal. Add the 12-digit NIC and save the file as CSV. Do not open the file after saving. Upload the file system. If you need to edit the file after saving, open the CSV file. Reformat the NIC column or number without decimals. Here I want to mention one thing. If you fill the schedule and convert the CSV and put the verification tool, it's failed. Then you correct the errors in your original file, not in the CS file. After the correction, after you check the verification tool and upload it, the TIN number issue was not arised. Account number, certificate number. This is common for the banks and financial institutions. The business loan, you can put any reference number. One of the most important thing is, if you have any issues in the withholding tax deduct amount is not matched with the value of interest. It may be come under the very small decimal amount, 0.1 no. So at the time, please you make the revised calculation to the value. Keep it withholding tax deducted amount as it is and make the revised calculation and correct the value of interest or discount paid. Then its issue was rectified. This schedule 2A and 2B same as the previous I explained. You can find the abbreviations and details how to fill list. One other thing, if you after the complete your schedule 1 or schedule 2A or 2B, you can export to CSV. Then it shows how to your file name should be right. First is your withholding agent in WHT schedule 1 or 2 or 2B. What other schedule you use that shows in here. This is 4X there. That is means your year of assessment. In here it is 24, 25. The next one is your current date. Now we came to the last part of my presentation. In here you can use our guideline and quick guides and this presentation and file the return through the e-service. If you access your e-service with your SSID, you can find the tab return and schedule management. Under the return and schedule management, you can find the annual statement of withholding tax for year of assessment 24-25. If you do not find the 24-25 year return, you can issue by your self-issuing through under the 360 degree on the dashboard. After that, you proceed it. You can find part 1 of the return, and the part 1 return and part 2 have 4 columns. First column is total payment value and the amount not B is not liable for the withholding tax. It's mean as per the act, it's not liable for the withholding tax, but you have made some expenses that the amount should be declared here, and what are the expenses you made and is liable for the withholding tax, and you deduct the withholding tax and remit to the IRD. That paid amount should be declared under the C, and the paid withholding tax come under the D. It's the same procedures for the part 2 also. Please, after that, the relevant schedule should be filled as I mentioned earlier. And here one thing I should mention here, when you upload the schedule to A and to B, sometimes you need upload to A only, or you no need to upload to B. But please remember, you should click the radio button of both schedule 2A and the 2B when you use for the uploading schedule. After that, you can submit as a preparer, and it should, after that, you prepare to submit the return, it comes to the approval level, and approval after that approved, it comes to the remise system. Please get your acknowledgement before the submit. Please get the printout of your acknowledgement. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.